My husband said I jumped, but the 8-year-old neighbor saw everything. I was falling backwards through humid Florida air when I realized Derek had planned this all along. 10 seconds earlier, we'd been in our bedroom arguing about divorce papers. "You're not taking my daughter anywhere," he said, gripping my shoulders hard enough to bruise. The balcony door was already open behind me. I should have noticed. Should have questioned why he'd opened it before our talk. "Jump if you want to leave so badly." His hand slammed into my chest. The push wasn't a shove. It was calculated force, both palms driving forward while his face stayed perfectly calm. I saw his silhouette watching as I went over the railing. No panic, no reaching out to grab me. Just watching. The pool water hit my back like concrete. My spine exploded in white-hot pain that shot down to my toes, then went completely numb. I couldn't move my legs. Water rushed into my lungs as I sank, chlorine burning my throat. My arms flailed, but my lower body was dead weight, dragging me down. "Mom! Mom, someone's in the pool!" 8-year-old Tommy Chen's voice cut through the darkness closing in. "They're not moving." I woke up in the hospital with a fractured L2 vertebra and partial paralysis below my waist. Derek was already there with roses, playing the concerned husband. "Thank God you're okay." He squeezed my hand while nurses watched. "Why would you jump? Why would you do this to us?" My throat was too damaged to speak, but my brain was racing. "Jump? I didn't jump. You pushed me. You pushed me off our balcony." "She's been depressed," he told the nurse, adjusting my IV. "She's been talking about hurting herself for weeks." That was a lie. But I couldn't say anything with the breathing tube down my throat. The memories flooded back as morphine dulled the pain. March. He'd grabbed me at the top of our stairs during a fight about a credit card charge. "Careful," he'd said. "These stairs are steep. Wouldn't want you to fall." May months, another fight about his drinking. He'd cornered me at the same staircase. "It would be so easy to make you disappear." July. He'd joked at a dinner party about how our balcony railing was low. Someone could go right over if they weren't careful. 8 months ago, I'd texted my sister. "Derek keeps saying he'll throw me off something. He thinks it's funny, but it scares me." My therapy notes documented everything. 14 sessions where I'd told Dr. Hoffman I was afraid Derek would push me down the stairs or off something high. She'd asked if I wanted to file a report. I'd said no. He hadn't actually done anything yet. Now he had. The spinal surgeon, Dr. Martinez, explained my options while Derek held my hand. "The surgery has a 30% chance of permanent paralysis, but without it, you definitely won't walk again." "We'll get through this together," Derek said, but his thumb pressed into my wrist. A warning. "Mommy!" Emma's voice from the doorway made me sob. Our 5-year-old stood there with my mother-in-law. "Why did Mommy try to fly?" "Mommy's sick, sweetheart." Derek scooped her up. "But Daddy's going to take care of everything." He was already on the phone with divorce lawyers that afternoon. I heard him from my bed. "Emergency custody due to suicide attempt. Yes, she jumped. The police have the report." The police. My stomach turned. Derek's brother Mike was a cop. Of course he was handling this. Mrs. Chen visited during evening rounds. She sat close to my bed, pretending to arrange the flowers she'd brought. "Tommy saw him push you," she whispered. "He was in our yard recording fireflies for his science project." My heart pounded against the monitors. Tommy had seen. There was a witness. "The video is clear," she continued. "But your husband's brother is police. We're scared." Before I could respond with the notepad, Derek walked in. Mrs. Chen jumped up, knocking over the water pitcher in her hurry to leave. "Clumsy neighbor," he said, watching her go. Then he leaned close to my ear. "Mike's handling everything. The report says you jumped. Everyone knows you've been unstable." He didn't know about my phone in the nightstand drawer. Didn't know my voice recorder app had been running during our entire fight. 47 minutes of audio, including him saying, "She jumped, Mike." Yeah, just like we discussed if she ever tried to leave. The hospital bill estimate arrived the next morning. $38,000 just for emergency surgery. Our insurance would cover some, but Derek controlled our finances. He'd already frozen my access to our joint accounts. I was trapped in this bed with a broken spine while my husband built his case that I was crazy. Mike was making sure the police report supported Derek's version. Emma was being told Mommy tried to fly away, but Derek didn't know about the recording. And he didn't know Tommy Chen had everything on video. The next morning, 2 detectives arrived while Derek was at work. Detective Rodriguez sat beside my bed while his partner, Detective Brennan, stood by the window taking notes. I could finally speak, though my voice came out raspy and broken. "He pushed me," I said. "Derek pushed me off our balcony." Rodriguez leaned forward. "Can you tell us what happened?" I told them everything. The fight about divorce papers, his hands on my shoulders, the calculated push, how he'd threatened to throw me downstairs for months. I showed them the bruises on my shoulders, purple and green marks shaped exactly like Derek's fingers. The detectives exchanged glances. "Mrs. Morrison," Rodriguez said slowly, "your husband says you've been having mental health issues. He mentioned you've been talking about hurting yourself." "That's a lie," my voice cracked. "I have therapy notes documenting that I was afraid of him. 14 sessions where I said he threatened to push me." Brennan shifted uncomfortably. "We need more than your word against his. The initial report says..." The door burst open. Derek walked in with his brother Mike in full police uniform. "Gentlemen," Mike said, nodding at the detectives, "I already filed the report last night. This is my sister-in-law. We've been worried about her mental state for months." "That's not true," I said, but my voice was barely a whisper against Mike's authority. Derek rushed to my bedside, playing the concerned husband perfectly. "Sarah, honey, you don't have to lie anymore. We all know you've been struggling." "She has bruises," Rodriguez said, "on her shoulders." "From when I tried to stop her from jumping," Derek said without missing a beat. "I grabbed her shoulders, tried to pull her back, but she twisted away from me." Mike stepped closer to Rodriguez. I interviewed the neighbors myself. Nobody saw the actual incident, just heard the splash. That was a lie. Mrs. Chen had told me Tommy saw everything, but I couldn't say that now, not with Mike here. The angle of her injuries Rodriguez started. Suggests nothing conclusive, Mike interrupted. I've been a cop for 12 years, seen plenty of jumpers. The injuries are consistent with a backwards fall. Derek squeezed my hand hard enough to hurt. Tell them the truth, Sarah. Tell them about the pills you've been taking, the depression. I wasn't taking any pills, I wasn't depressed. But I saw Rodriguez making notes about psychiatric medication. My sister-in-law has been struggling since she lost her job, Mike said. I hadn't lost my job. I was on medical leave after the fall, but Mike kept talking, building a false narrative while I lay there with a broken spine. We appreciate you following up, Mike told the detectives. But this is clearly a mental health situation, not a criminal one. I'll make sure she gets the help she needs. Rodriguez looked at me one more time. I saw doubt in his eyes, maybe even sympathy, but Mike was a cop. Derek was calm and credible. I was the woman in the hospital bed who'd supposedly tried to kill herself. They left without taking my statement. An hour after the detectives left, Dr. Martinez pulled me aside during his rounds. Sarah, I need to show you something. He closed the door and pulled up my x-rays on his tablet. The angle of your fracture doesn't match a backwards jump. He pointed to the L2 vertebra, shattered in a distinct pattern. See this? The impact pattern shows force from a frontal push. When someone jumps backwards, they instinctively arch their back. The fracture would be here. He moved his finger to a different spot. But yours is here. Someone pushed you hard from the front while you were facing them. You're sure? I've seen enough trauma cases to know the difference. 20 years of emergency surgery. I've seen jumpers, accident victims, and assault victims. This is assault. My heart raced. Finally, someone believed me. I'm documenting everything in the official medical report, he said, typing on his tablet. The injury pattern, the angle of impact, the force required. It all indicates you were pushed. Thank God. Can you tell the police? His face darkened. I already tried. Your brother-in-law filed the report as attempted suicide. They won't accept my medical opinion over the responding officer's report. But you're a doctor. You have medical evidence. And he's a cop with 12 years on the force. Guess who they believe? Before I could respond, the door opened. A woman in a gray suit walked in carrying a clipboard. Mrs. Morrison? I'm Janet Powell from Hospital Social Services. She didn't wait for me to respond. Your husband has requested a psychiatric evaluation for custody purposes. What? He can't do that. Actually, given the circumstances of your admission, he can. As your next of kin and the father of your minor child, he has the right to request an evaluation if he believes you're a danger to yourself or others. Dr. Martinez stepped forward. This is ridiculous. Her injuries clearly indicate, Doctor, I'm not here to debate the cause of injury. I'm here because a child's safety is potentially at risk. She turned back to me. The evaluation will determine if you're mentally fit to maintain custody of your daughter. I didn't try to kill myself. He pushed me. She wrote something on her clipboard. Patient exhibits paranoid ideation regarding spouse. That's not paranoia. Look at the medical evidence. Patient becomes agitated when discussing incident. More writing. Dr. Martinez's face was red. You're twisting everything she says. Doctor, I understand you want to advocate for your patient, but Mr. Morrison has legitimate concerns. His wife suffered a traumatic injury under questionable circumstances. He's simply trying to protect their child. By taking her away from her mother? By ensuring the child is in a stable environment while Mrs. Morrison receives appropriate treatment. She pulled out another form. Mrs. Morrison, Dr. Whitman will conduct your psychiatric evaluation tomorrow morning. I suggest you rest and prepare yourself. And prepare myself for what? To be called crazy? To demonstrate that you're capable of providing a safe environment for your daughter? She paused at the door. Your husband seems very concerned about you. He mentioned you've been struggling with depression, taking pills, making threats. None of that is true. Then you'll have the opportunity to clarify that with Dr. Whitman. She left before I could respond. Dr. Martinez sat on the edge of my bed. Sarah, listen to me. They're building a case that you're an unfit mother. Your husband, his brother, now social services. You need a lawyer. I can't afford one. Derek controls all our money. Then call a women's shelter. They have resources. With what phone? Derek monitors everything. He pulled out his personal cell. Use mine. Make the call now while he's not here. I dialed the domestic violence hotline with shaking fingers. They said they'd send an advocate tomorrow, someone who understood how the system worked against victims. But tomorrow felt too far away. Derek would be back any minute, playing the worried husband while destroying my life piece by piece. That evening, I tried to call the women's shelter from the hospital phone while Derek was gone. I need help getting out. My husband pushed me off our balcony, and now he's trying to take my daughter. The advocate's voice was calm. We can get you into our emergency housing as soon as you're discharged. Do you have access to any money? I have $6,000 hidden in a savings account. Can you transfer it now? I logged into my banking app with shaking hands. Account frozen. Derek had already locked everything down. He froze our joint accounts. What about credit cards? Every single one declined. He'd canceled them all. Is there family who can help? My sister lives in Seattle, but... I stopped. Derek was listed as my emergency contact on everything. The hospital would notify him if anyone tried to help me leave. Any call I made, any visitor who came, he'd know about it. Sarah, are you still there? I can't. He'll find out. He gets notified about everything. We can send someone to... The door opened. I hung up immediately as my supervisor Jennifer walked in with flowers. Sarah, honey, how are you feeling? She set the vase on my nightstand, her face full of concern. Derek called and told us about your breakdown. My what? He said you've been struggling with depression, that you've been having thoughts about... Well, you know. She couldn't even say the word suicide. Why didn't you tell me you were suffering? Jennifer, I didn't have a breakdown. I didn't try to kill myself. She patted my hand like I was a child. It's okay to admit you need help. Derek said denial is part of the illness. He pushed me. Derek pushed me off the balcony. Her face went tight. Sarah, that's a very serious accusation. Derek's been at the office every day this week, worried sick about you. He even asked if we'd noticed any warning signs. What warning signs? I wasn't depressed. He mentioned you'd been missing work, crying in the bathroom, talking about feeling trapped. None of that was true. I hadn't missed a single day until this happened. The whole ER team is rooting for you, she continued. We've started a collection for your medical bills. Derek said the insurance might not cover everything since it was self-inflicted. It wasn't self-inflicted. She squeezed my hand. Take all the time you need to get better. Your job will be waiting when you're ready. She left before I could explain. Derek had already poisoned my workplace against me. My phone buzzed. A text from my mother. Derek called me. Why didn't you tell me you were struggling? He said you've been having dark thoughts for months. I'm flying down tomorrow. I called her immediately. Mom, no. Derek is lying. He pushed me. Sarah, sweetheart. Her voice was gentle, careful. Derek said you might say that. He warned me the medication makes you paranoid. I'm not on medication. I'm not paranoid. He's been so patient with you. He told me about the therapy sessions, the antidepressants you've been hiding. What antidepressants? Mom, please, you have to believe me. I believe you're hurting, sweetheart, but accusing your husband of attempted murder, that's not rational. Call Dr. Hoffman. Call my therapist. She'll tell you I was afraid of him. Derek already called her. She can't discuss your sessions, but she confirmed you've been seeing her for depression and anxiety. That was technically true. I'd been anxious and depressed because of Derek's abuse, but taken out of context, it sounded like mental illness. Mom, please. He's dangerous. The only danger here is to yourself, Sarah. But don't worry. Derek's taking care of everything. He's already found a wonderful facility that specializes in postpartum depression and psychosis. Emma is 5 years old. I can't have postpartum depression. It can last for years if untreated. Derek sent me articles. She kept talking, but I couldn't hear her anymore. Derek had thought of everything. My job thought I was suicidal. My mother thought I was psychotic. My bank accounts were frozen. The police believed him. He'd isolated me completely while I was trapped in this bed with a broken spine. And tomorrow, a psychiatrist he'd probably already gotten to would declare me unfit to raise my own daughter. That night, Derek visited with Emma and his expensive lawyer. Mommy's sick, but Daddy will take care of everything. He held Emma's hand while she stared at my catheter tube. Why does Mommy have that? She pointed at the bag hanging from my bed. Because Mommy hurt herself. His voice was soft, patient. The perfect father. But we're going to help her get better. His lawyer pulled out a thick folder. Mrs. Morrison, given recent events, my client needs to protect the child. He placed emergency custody papers on my hospital tray. Sign here. I couldn't even sit up properly. The catheter tugged when I moved. My spine screamed with every shift. I'm not signing anything. Then we'll file for permanent removal based on the suicide attempt. The lawyer's voice was flat. Your choice. Temporary custody now, with visitation rights when you're better, or permanent loss with no contact. I didn't try to kill myself. The police report says otherwise. Emma was playing with the flowers Derek brought, not understanding her whole life was being decided. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab her and run. But I couldn't even walk. After they left, I went through the bag of personal items Derek had brought from home. Insurance papers fell out. My hands went cold. 3 months ago, he'd increased my life insurance to $500,000. The signature on the form wasn't mine. Close, but the S was wrong. The way the H curved. He'd forged it. If I'd died in that pool, he would have gotten $500,000 and full custody of Emma. No questions asked. A grieving widower with a troubled wife who'd finally succeeded in killing herself. Mrs. Chen slipped into my room during evening rounds. She pressed a note into my hand. Tommy made a video. Meet me in the garden tomorrow. The next morning at 6, Mrs. Chen wheeled me to the hospital garden. Tommy was in our yard recording fireflies for his science project. She pulled out her phone with shaking hands. The video was clear. Our balcony perfectly visible from their yard. Derek gripping my shoulders. The push. Me falling backward, arms windmilling. The splash. I was recording fireflies for my science project, she said, repeating what Tommy had told her. My heart pounded. This was it. Proof. Your husband's brother is a cop. Mrs. Chen looked around nervously. What if they come after us? We need copies. Now. She helped me forward it to my cloud storage, then copied it to a USB she had in her purse. I'll put another copy at my sister's house. Can we go to the police with this? Not until you have a lawyer who can protect us. Her hands shook as she put her phone away. That cop brother already came to our house, asked if we saw anything. My husband said no. He was scared. I understood. An immigrant family against a cop's word. They'd be destroyed. She pressed the USB into my hand before wheeling me back. Hide this. Don't let anyone know you have it. Back in my room, I hid the USB inside my pillowcase. My roommate Diane had been watching me struggle for 3 days. My daughter's a paralegal, she said quietly after the nurses left. She knows lawyers who help women like you. I can't pay anyone. Women's Shelter has pro bono lawyers. Free. My daughter will call one. 2 nights later, Lauren showed up after Derek's visiting hours. She was young, maybe 30, with exhausted eyes and a briefcase that looked like it had seen 100 cases like mine. I work nights at the diner, she said, pulling out a legal pad. I can only come after 10 when your husband's gone. She took photos of my bruises first. The purple fingerprints on my shoulders, the defensive marks on my forearms, the rope burn on my neck from grabbing the balcony rail. Tell me everything from the beginning. I gave her the timeline. 3 years of threats. The escalating violence, the push. She wrote everything down, asking for dates, times, witnesses. I need medical records. Dr. Martinez already documented that the injury pattern doesn't match a jump. Good. What else? I remembered my phone. I was recording when it happened. Recording? We were fighting about custody. I wanted proof of his threats for the divorce lawyer. I pulled out my phone. The app kept running when he pushed me. Lauren helped me find the file, 47 minutes of audio. Derek's voice filled the room. You think you can leave me? Take my daughter? My voice shaking. It's over, Derek. I filed the papers. You want a divorce? Let me help you leave permanently. Then the sounds, the struggle, my scream, the splash. Lauren's hand covered her mouth. Keep playing it. After the splash, footsteps. Derek's voice, calm now, talking on the phone. She jumped mic. A pause. Yeah, just like we discussed if she ever tried to leave. Lauren stopped the recording. Her face had gone white. This is conspiracy to commit murder. They planned this. So we can arrest them? Not yet. She put my phone in an evidence bag. Chain of custody is compromised. You've had the phone this whole time. Any decent lawyer will say you could have faked the audio. But I didn't. I know, but we need more proof. The video helps, but the Chen family is terrified. If we move too fast, they'll disappear rather than testify against a cop. She pulled out a timeline chart. Your husband increased your life insurance 3 months ago. Then he started documenting your supposed mental illness. Then he pushed you. This was premeditated. How do we prove it? We build the case slowly. Document everything. Every visit, every threat, every lie he tells the doctors. She handed me a small notebook. Write down everything. Times, dates, exact words. Hide this when he's around. Where? Give it to the chaplain. They have confidentiality. Derek can't touch it there. The next morning, Derek visited with flowers and his mother. The psychiatric evaluation is tomorrow, he said, kissing my forehead for the nurses to see. Just tell them the truth about your depression. I'm not depressed. His mother patted my hand. Denial is part of the illness, dear. Derek told me about the pills. What pills? The antidepressants you've been hiding. The sleeping medication, the anxiety pills. I'd never taken any of those, but Derek had already created a whole medical history. After they left, Lauren called from a different number. I found something. Derek's college girlfriend filed a police report 10 years ago, said he pushed her down the stairs. She dropped the charges 2 days later. Can we contact her? I'm trying. But Sarah, there's more. Your brother-in-law, Mike? 3 other women have filed complaints about him helping their husbands in domestic violence cases, making evidence disappear, intimidating witnesses. So he's done this before? Multiple times. But he's smart, never leaves a paper trail, always makes it look like the women are crazy. That night, I lay awake thinking about the recording. Derek saying, just like we discussed. They'd planned this. If I tried to leave, they'd push me off something and call it suicide. The USB under my pillow felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Video proof of attempted murder, audio proof of conspiracy, medical proof of assault. But none of it mattered if no one would listen to a woman they'd already decided was crazy. The night nurse Pamela caught me crying after Derek's visit. He grabbed your wrist pretty hard there. She checked my vitals. I saw the marks. You noticed? I was pushed downstairs by my ex. She rolled up her sleeve. Old scars. Took me 3 tries to leave. I know the signs. She pulled out a small notebook. I'm documenting everything, every visit, every threat he whispers when he thinks no one's listening. Nah, you heard him? Yesterday he told you that if you didn't sign the papers, you'd never see Emma again. I was changing the IV bag. He didn't see me. The physical therapist noticed too. These new bruises on your arms, she said during morning exercises, they weren't here yesterday. Derek was here last night. She took photos with the medical camera. For your file, in case you need them. Aren't you supposed to stay neutral? I'm supposed to document injuries that appear during treatment. That's exactly what I'm doing. Marcus, the security guard, stopped by during his rounds. Your husband tried to access your medical records from the nurse's station computer yesterday. Used a doctor's login he shouldn't have had. How do you know? System flags unauthorized access. He was looking for your psychiatric evaluation results before they were even done. Can you prove it? Already reported it to administration. There's a digital trail. 3 women from my support group visited that afternoon. We'd been meeting twice a week since I'd been admitted. All domestic violence survivors. We saw how he talks to you, Janet said. She'd been thrown through a window by her husband 2 years ago. The way he stands over you, blocks the door when nurses come in. He smiles while threatening you, said Maria. Her ex had broken her jaw. Same smile my ex used. We'll testify if you need us, said Keisha. She walked with a cane from when her boyfriend pushed her off a roof. All 3 of us. You don't have to get involved. Yes, we do. Janet squeezed my hand. Nobody believed us either. The hospital chaplain, Father Ryan, visited every evening. I heard you've been journaling. Derek found my notebook yesterday, almost caught me documenting his threats. Give me your real notes. He pulled out a prayer journal with a cross on the cover. Write them in here. Religious materials are protected. He'll still read it. Not if it's in my office. Chaplain confidentiality. He can't touch anything there. He handed me the journal. Write down everything, every word, every threat, every visit. I'll keep it locked in my office safe. Why are you helping me? Because I've given last rites to 3 women whose husbands swore it was suicide. I know what attempted murder looks like. That night, I wrote everything in the prayer journal. Derek's threats about taking Emma, his comments about the mental hospital, the way he'd whispered that I'd disappear permanently if I didn't cooperate. Pamela came in at 2 a.m. for vitals. Your husband's brother was here earlier. The cop asked the night staff about your mental state. What did they say? Nothing. We all suddenly had urgent patients to attend to. She adjusted my blanket. Funny how that works. He'll make your lives hell. Let him try. My supervisor's daughter was killed by her husband 5 years ago. After the cops said she was just being dramatic, she checked my IV. Every single nurse on this floor has seen what men like your husband do. We're not going to let him win. But if he finds out you're helping, he won't. We're just doing our jobs, documenting injuries, following protocol, taking really detailed notes that happen to mention every bruise, every threat, every violation of hospital policy. Marcus stopped by again before shift change. That lawyer who visits you at night, Lauren? I've been making sure the hallway cameras are working perfectly during her visits. Every conversation is recorded, in case anyone claims you're making things up. The hospital allows that? The hospital wants to avoid a lawsuit. A woman with a broken spine whose husband keeps leaving new bruises? Administration is paying attention now. Father Ryan returned for the journal. 32 pages already. You're building quite a case. A case no one will believe. They'll believe evidence. And you have more support than you know. He locked the journal in his briefcase. Half this hospital is watching your husband now. He just doesn't know it yet. Derek found my hidden notebook tucked under my mattress during his evening visit. What's this? He flipped through the pages, his face getting darker. Making up more lies about me? My heart hammered. That notebook had everything. Dates, times, threats, evidence of his abuse going back months. It's my therapy homework. The lie came out fast. About taking responsibility. Responsibility for what? For my depression. For what I did to our family. He stopped at the first page. I'd written fake entries there, just in case. Stuff about feeling hopeless, wanting to escape, the kind of things a suicidal person might write. I feel trapped in my own mind, he read out loud. Sometimes I think everyone would be better without me. I'd hated writing those words. But Lauren said I needed cover stories for everything. He kept reading the fake entries, 3 pages of lies about my mental state. Behind them were 20 pages of truth about his abuse. If he kept going, this is good. He closed the notebook. Dr. Whitman will want to see this. Proof you've been struggling. He tucked it into his jacket pocket. My stomach dropped. I need that, for my sessions. I'll make copies for your lawyer. Show them how sick you've been. And after he left, I texted Lauren from the burner phone Pamela had smuggled me. He took the decoy notebook. Good. The real documentation is safe with Father Ryan, but Derek started showing up at random times after that. 7 a.m., 2 p.m., 11 p.m. Never a pattern. Who visited you today? He'd check the sign-in sheet at the nurse's station. Just physical therapy. What about that woman last night, Lauren? She's from the insurance company. He pulled out his phone, typed something. There's no Lauren at our insurance company. Maybe I got the name wrong. You're lying. He leaned close. Mike's running background checks on everyone who visits you. We'll find out who she is. The next day, Mike showed up in uniform. Interesting visitor log. 3 women from your support group, all with domestic violence histories, all with grudges against their husbands, ex-husbands. Right, because they all lied to get custody. He flipped through his notepad. Just like you're trying to do. I'm not lying. The security guard, Marcus Williams. Did you know he was fired from his last job for helping a patient file false abuse claims? That couldn't be true. But Mike kept talking. The night nurse, Pamela Rodriguez. Her ex-husband says she made false accusations during their divorce. You're investigating everyone who helps me? I'm protecting my brother from people trying to destroy his life. He stood up. Every single person who visits you, who talks to you, who helps you, we know who they are. That night, Lauren called from a new number. I found something in Derek's text records. How did you? Discovery request for the divorce proceedings. Listen to this. She read from her notes. 2 hours after the push, Derek texted Mike. It's done. Make sure Rodriguez takes the call, not Martinez. He owes us. Rodriguez was the detective who came here. Right. They had a specific cop in mind, one who owed them. This proves conspiracy. Can we use it? Not yet. We need to find out what Rodriguez owed them for. What favor did they do that made him willing to cover up attempted murder? My spine throbbed. 3 weeks since the push, and I still couldn't feel my left foot properly. Derek had tried to kill me, and now he was systematically destroying anyone who tried to help. Sarah, there's more. Mike's been pulled into internal affairs twice before. Both times for helping cover up domestic violence. Both times the cases got dropped when witnesses disappeared. Disappeared? Moved away suddenly. Changed their minds about testifying. One woman just vanished completely. My mouth went dry. What do? We keep building the case. But Sarah, be careful. These men have done this before. 3 days later, the judge granted Derek temporary full custody while I was undergoing treatment. The court order arrived with my breakfast tray. I could only see Emma once a week with a social worker watching. Derek had already moved his mother into our house to help with Emma. That first supervised visit destroyed me. Emma sat across from me in the hospital playroom, not making eye contact. Mommy is sick in her head. She repeated it like she'd been coached. That's why Mommy jumped. Baby, I didn't jump. I would never leave you. The social worker wrote something down. Let's not confuse the child with different versions of events. Daddy says you didn't want to be my mommy anymore. Emma's voice cracked. He says you wanted to fly away from us. That's not true. I love you more than anything. Then why did you jump? I reached for her hand, but she pulled back. My 5-year-old daughter was afraid of me. Derek had poisoned her against me in 3 days. 3 days. Grandma says you take bad medicine that makes you act crazy. Emma picked at her shoelaces. She says that's why you can't live with us anymore. Emma, look at me. She finally met my eyes. Daddy has a new friend named Michelle. She makes better pancakes than you. Michelle, his 26-year-old assistant, the one he swore he wasn't sleeping with. Time's up. The social worker stood. Say goodbye to Mommy. Emma didn't hug me, didn't kiss me goodbye, just walked out holding the social worker's hand. Lauren visited that night. Derek switched your insurance to a cheaper plan. You're not covered for long-term care anymore. What does that mean? The hospital bill is now $15,000 more than what insurance covers. They're threatening to transfer you to the state facility if you can't pay. The state facility is for people who can't afford treatment. Exactly. It's also where they send psychiatric patients. She showed me the paperwork. Derek's setting you up. State facility plus psychiatric history equals permanent loss of custody. My phone rang. The hospital billing department. Mrs. Morrison, we need to discuss your outstanding balance. Without payment, we'll have to transfer you by Friday. It's Tuesday. Yes, ma'am. You have 3 days to arrange payment or transfer to Jacksonville State Medical Facility. Jacksonville State, 2 hours away. No way for my support system to visit. No way for Lauren to meet with me. Completely isolated. Derek visited the next morning with his mother. She'd aged him 10 years but somehow made him look more sympathetic. The devoted son caring for his sick wife with his elderly mother's help. The house is running so smoothly now. His mother patted my hand. Emma barely cries for you anymore. She stopped asking when you're coming home. Derek squeezed my shoulder hard enough to hurt. Kids are resilient. You can't do this. Do what? Take care of our daughter while you get the help you need? He pulled out his phone, showed me a photo, Emma laughing on Michelle's lap. She's adjusting well, his mother leaned in. That Michelle is wonderful with children. She'll make someone a wonderful wife someday. They were replacing me. While I lay here with a broken spine, they were erasing me from my daughter's life. The state facility has excellent psychiatric care. Derek tucked the photo away. I've already talked to them about your case. I'm not going there. Then pay the bill. He smiled. Oh wait, you can't. Because you jumped off a balcony and broke your spine like an idiot. His mother gasped. Derek, she's ill. Don't be cruel. You're right, Mom. He kissed my forehead. I should be more patient with her condition. They left me there, knowing I had 3 days before being shipped off to a place where no one would believe a word I said, where Derek's version of events would become the only truth. I was 3 weeks into my hospital stay when Derek's story finally took hold. I still couldn't walk without the walker. My left foot dragged behind me like dead weight. Physical therapy was agony, 2 hours every morning trying to convince my spine to work again. Jennifer from work visited with a card signed by the entire ER team. Get well soon. Thinking of you during this difficult time, with little hearts and smiley faces. Derek told us about your breakdown. She sat on the edge of my bed. He said you've been struggling for months. There was no breakdown. He told me about your previous attempts. Her voice went soft. Why didn't you tell me? We've been friends for 5 years. What previous attempts? The pills last year. The time you tried to cut yourself in the bathroom at work. That never happened. My voice cracked. Jennifer, none of that happened. She pulled out her phone. He sent us the therapy notes. About how you've been planning this for months, the fake pages from my decoy notebook. Derek had photographed them and sent them to everyone. Those aren't real therapy notes. Sarah, it's okay to be sick, but you need to accept help. She left the card on my nightstand. Below the signatures, someone had written, stay strong. Like I had cancer. Like I was dying of something real instead of being murdered in slow motion. My mother-in-law visited that afternoon. She was on the phone when she walked in, didn't even look at me. Once she's committed, Derek can remarry properly. She said it like I wasn't there. Michelle is young, healthy. She can give him more children. I'm right here. She covered the phone. The psychiatrist says paranoid delusions are common with your condition. What condition? What psychiatrist? The one Derek hired. Very expensive but worth it for Emma's safety. She went back to her call. Yes, the state facility has a special ward. Minimum 2 years for cases like this. 2 years. They were planning to lock me away for 2 years. The physical therapist made notes during our afternoon session. Patient exhibits emotional instability, crying during routine exercises. I'm crying because you're pulling on my broken spine. I'm noting signs of depression. She wrote it down. Resistance to treatment. Of course I was crying. My daughter thought I tried to abandon her. My husband was stealing my life. Every single person who should have protected me was documenting my mental illness instead. Even Dr. Martinez seemed different. Your psychiatric evaluation came back. What evaluation? I refused to talk to Derek's psychiatrist. Dr. Whitman filed his report based on observations and collected statements. He never even met me. He had enough secondary sources. Your husband's testimony, your mother-in-law's observations, your coworkers' concerns. This is insane. That's not a word you should use right now. He looked uncomfortable. It doesn't help your case. My mother finally arrived from Seattle. Derek had been calling her for weeks. Sweetheart. She held my hand. Derek showed me the suicide note. What suicide note? The one on your phone. About how you couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed her hand. Mom, listen to me. There is no suicide note. Derek pushed me. He's making all of this up. The denial is part of the illness. She was crying now. Derek said you'd say exactly this. He said you'd blame everyone except yourself. Call Dr. Hoffman, my real therapist. She'll tell you the truth. Derek already had me talk to her. She confirmed you've been seeing her for severe depression and anxiety. Because of him. Because he's been abusing me. Sarah. Her voice went hard. Derek has been nothing but patient with you. He's keeping the family together while you fall apart. Stop blaming him for your illness. Even my own mother believed him now. Lauren called that night from another new number. Stop crying during PT. Stop arguing with visitors. Stop defending yourself. They're stealing my daughter. And every emotional response you have becomes evidence of mental illness. Her voice was sharp. You want Emma back? Become a robot. No feelings, no reactions, pleasant and compliant. I can't do this anymore. Yes, you can, because Tommy Chen's video is still out there, and I'm 3 days away from finding out what Rodriguez owes your brother-in-law. 3 days might be too late. Then survive 3 more days, whatever it takes. The next morning, Tommy Chen visited with his mother. I made you a picture. He held up a drawing of stick figures around a hospital bed. That's you getting better. Mrs. Chen handed me the drawing. Tommy worked very hard on this. I felt the USB taped to the back. My heart pounded as I peeled it off carefully, hiding it under my blanket. Tommy is so thoughtful. I kept my voice steady while nurses walked by. Mrs. Chen leaned close, pretending to adjust my pillows. My brother-in-law is FBI agent. He saw the video. He says this is attempted murder. Can he help? He needs more evidence of conspiracy. One video shows the push, but not the planning. I have a recording, Derek talking to Mike after. Still not enough. Need proof they planned before, not just covered up after. She straightened my blanket. He's watching, though. Building federal case if we can prove corruption. Tommy was coloring at the bedside table. Mom, can we go? I have soccer. After they left, I texted Lauren about the FBI connection. That afternoon, she arrived with a stack of papers. Discovery documents from your divorce filing, Derek's browser history. How did you get that? Divorce proceedings, he has to turn over all digital records. She spread out the printouts. Look at these searches. 6 weeks before pushing me, how long for suicide attempt custody? 5 weeks before, pool depth needed to cause spine injury. 5 weeks before, difference between shallow and deep water drowning. 4 weeks before, life insurance payout suicide versus accident Florida. 3 weeks before, temporary custody mental illness spouse. 2 weeks before, psychiatric hold requirements Florida. 1 week before, balcony height, second floor fatal. My hands shook. He researched how to kill me. He researched how to almost kill you, see? He needed you alive but injured, mentally broken, so he could take Emma and the money. This proves premeditation. It proves research. Any decent lawyer will say he was worried about your mental state and trying to understand what might happen. That's insane. That's what Derek's lawyer Marcus Webb will argue. She pulled out another paper. But this is interesting. 3 days before the push, Derek searched Detective Rodriguez Jacksonville arrest record. Why would he search Mike's friend? That's what I'm trying to find out. Rodriguez has been on the force 12 years, clean record. But something made Derek look him up specifically. Mike said Rodriguez owed them. Right, so what does a clean cop owe them for? She gathered the papers. I'm having someone check Rodriguez's finances, gambling debts, mortgage problems, anything that makes a good cop go bad. What if we can't find anything? Then we use what we have. The video, the recording, the searches. It's not perfect, but it's something. Derek's mother wants me committed by Monday. His lawyer will get emergency custody permanently. I know. I'm filing an emergency injunction tonight. It might buy us a few days. The judge is Mike's friend. Not all judges. Judge Patricia Hayes is on duty this weekend. She's not in Mike's pocket. How do you know? Because Mike got 3 cases dismissed last year. All 3 were supposed to go to Hayes. All 3 got mysteriously reassigned at the last minute. So she's clean? She hates dirty cops. Her daughter was killed by her ex-husband after police ignored 7 domestic violence calls. Lauren stood to leave. Hayes is our only shot. If we get her, we might have a chance. That evening, Derek visited alone. The psychiatrist says you're making progress. Accepting responsibility for your actions. I kept my face neutral like Lauren taught me. I want to get better. Good. Because Michelle has been wonderful with Emma. They're bonding so well. Don't react, don't cry, don't give him anything to document. The state facility has an opening Monday, 2-year program. Very thorough. And 2 years. Emma would be 7. She wouldn't even remember me. Unless... He pulled out custody papers. You could sign these now. Give me full custody. I'll make sure you get the help you need somewhere nicer. I need to think about it. You have until Sunday night, then the choice gets made for you. After he left, I held Tommy's USB tight. Video evidence, audio evidence, browser history. It had to be enough. It had to be. Sunday morning, Dr. Martinez came to my room looking exhausted. Mike came to my house last night. He closed the door behind him. Offered me $10,000 to change my medical report. What did you say? I called the state medical board while he was still standing on my porch. He pulled out his phone, showed me the email. Filed a formal complaint about attempted interference with medical evidence. He'll destroy you. Let him try. I've been documenting everything, every threat, every visit, every attempt to access your medical files. He sat down. The board is opening an investigation Monday. The hospital administrator knocked and entered. Mrs. Morrison, we've reviewed the security footage from the night of your accident. My heart stopped. What footage? Your husband left through the emergency exit at 9:32 p.m., 2 minutes after your fall. She showed me a printout. Not the behavior of a worried husband who just found his wife attempting suicide. He pushed me, then ran. The footage also shows him returning through the main entrance at 9:47 p.m., acting panicked, asking for help. She set down another image. 15 minutes to change his clothes and create an alibi. Can you testify to this? The hospital's legal team is reviewing our liability. But yes, we're prepared to provide all footage to proper authorities. That afternoon, a woman from the women's shelter arrived. I'm Sandra. I need to tell you something about Derek. You know him? 10 years ago, I worked at Florida State University Counseling Center. She pulled out an old file. A student named Rebecca came to me, said her boyfriend pushed her down the stairs. Derek's college girlfriend. She had a broken wrist, 3 cracked ribs. She was terrified. And Sandra showed me a photo, young woman with bruises identical to mine. She filed a police report. 2 days later, she withdrew everything and transferred schools. Why? Derek's father was a major university donor. Suddenly, Rebecca's scholarship disappeared. Her work-study job ended. Her dorm room got reassigned. Sandra's hands clenched. They destroyed her life until she ran. Where is she now? Teaching in Oregon. She's still terrified of him, won't come forward. But she said I could tell you this. Derek practiced on her first. Practiced? The pushing. He'd grab her shoulders, pretend to push her backwards, then laugh about it. Said he was just playing. Then one day at the top of the library stairs, he wasn't playing anymore. Just like me. She wants you to know you're not crazy, and you're not the first. Lauren called an hour later. I found what Rodriguez owes Mike for. What? Rodriguez's 16-year-old son was arrested for drunk driving 2 years ago. Would have ruined the kid's future. Mike made it disappear. So Rodriguez owes him a favor. A big one, covering up attempted murder-level favor. Can we prove it? The arrest record exists. The dismissal paperwork has Mike's signature. It's not solid proof of quid pro quo, but it shows the connection. Is it enough? Combined with everything else? Maybe, if we get the right judge. As she said that, Derek walked in with Emma. Say goodbye to Mommy, he said loudly. Tomorrow she's going somewhere special to get better. Emma wouldn't look at me. Bye, Mommy. It's not Monday yet, I said carefully. Change of plans. Derek smiled. Found an opening at the facility for tonight. Midnight transfer. Better for everyone, less traumatic for Emma. You can't do that without a court order. Emergency psychiatric hold. Dr. Whitman signed it an hour ago. He pulled out the papers. Based on your deteriorating mental state and risk of self-harm. I haven't even met Dr. Whitman. He's been observing through your care team. Very thorough. Derek picked up Emma. Say goodbye, you won't see Mommy for a while. Emma finally looked at me. Michelle says when you come back, you'll be all better. Then we can be a real family. They left. It was 6 p.m. Sunday. In 6 hours, I'd be locked in a psychiatric facility 2 hours away. Lauren wasn't answering. The FBI brother-in-law couldn't move without more evidence. And Derek had won. At 11 p.m., Derek came back with Emma. Change of plans again. He was practically glowing. Transport's delayed until tomorrow morning. Thought Emma should say a proper goodbye. Emma stood in the doorway clutching her stuffed rabbit. She wouldn't come closer. The doctors agree you need long-term help. Derek sat on my bed, too close. This is what's best for everyone. He leaned in, his cologne making me sick. Should have just filed for divorce like a normal person. I did file for divorce. That's why you pushed me. Still telling that story? He shook his head for the nurses passing by. The delusions are getting worse. Now Emma will have a better mother. His voice dropped so only I could hear. Michelle is moving in next week. She's already redecorating your office. Michelle, 26 years old. The assistant he swore he wasn't sleeping with while working late all those nights. I don't want a new mommy, Emma suddenly screamed. She ran to my bed, throwing herself against me. My spine screamed, but I held her tight. It's okay, baby. Mommy's not going anywhere. Yes, you are. Derek stood up. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. sharp. He grabbed Emma's arm to pull her away. She clung tighter to me. Emma, come on. Michelle is waiting in the car. She brought you McDonald's. I don't want McDonald's. I want Mommy. Derek's face went red. He grabbed my wrist hard, fingers digging in. The security camera in the corner was recording everything. Sign the custody papers. And his grip tightened until I gasped. Or you'll never see her again. You're hurting me! I screamed so loud the whole floor heard me. Derek's hand shot toward my mouth, but I jerked my head away, screaming louder. Help me! Someone help me! Pamela crashed through the door with 2 security guards behind her. Get your hands off her! Derek let go instantly, switched to victim mode. She's having an episode. She attacked me. No! Emma was sobbing, pulling at his shirt. Daddy hurt Mommy. You grabbed her arm. The child's confused. His voice went calm. Professional. This is exactly why Sarah needs psychiatric help. She's turning our daughter against me. That's when I saw Tommy Chen in the hallway, 8 years old with his tablet up, recording everything. For my YouTube channel, he said when Derek noticed him. About hospitals at night. Marcus, the security guard, looked at the tablet screen. The whole thing was there. Derek's hand crushing my wrist, my face contorting in pain. Emma crying. Sir, step into the hallway. This is ridiculous. My brother's a detective. Hospital security issue. Step outside while we sort this out. I'm calling Mike. Derek pulled out his phone. In the hallway. The second guard moved between Derek and my bed. Now. Derek walked out, already dialing. I heard him through the door. Mike, get down here. Your sister-in-law is causing a scene. Pamela was examining my wrist. The marks were already darkening. Perfect finger-shaped bruises wrapping around like a bracelet. We need police, she told the other nurse. Not 3rd Precinct. Call state police. Why state? 3rd Precinct is his brother's department. State police have jurisdiction here. 20 minutes felt like 20 hours. Emma stayed curled against me while we waited. Mrs. Chen held Tommy in the hallway, making sure he saved the video to 3 different places. 2 state troopers arrived first, then a woman in a gray blazer. Detective Sarah Mills. She came straight to my bed, didn't even glance at Derek. Where are you hurt? I held up my wrist. The bruises were purple now. 4 fingers on top, thumb underneath. You could see the exact pressure points where he'd dug in. She took photos. Front view, side view, close-up of each finger mark. When did this happen? 30 minutes ago, he demanded I sign custody papers. That's a lie. Derek tried to push back into the room, but the trooper blocked him. Check her file. She's been diagnosed with paranoid delusions. I'll interview everyone separately. Mills didn't look at him. Starting with the child who filmed it. She knelt down to Tommy's level. Can I see your video? Tommy held up the tablet. There it was in perfect HD. Derek's face twisted in rage, his hand crushing my wrist, the audio crystal clear. Sign the custody papers or you'll never see her again. Mills watched it twice, made Tommy email it to her official address. What were you recording for? My YouTube channel about cool hospital stuff. My mom says I can't post without permission, but I like practicing. Did anyone tell you to record this? No, ma'am. I just heard yelling and thought it might be interesting. She turned to Derek. Mr. Morrison, I need to ask you some questions. This is harassment. My wife is mentally ill. She's being transferred in the morning. That's being reviewed. The hospital administrator had arrived. Dr. Whitman's evaluation appears to have some irregularities. What irregularities? For starters, he's never actually been in this hospital. Derek's phone rang, Mike's name on the screen. He answered on speaker before Mills could stop him. Derek, don't say anything else. Internal affairs just showed up at my house. What? Why? Someone reported our text messages. About Rodriguez, about the plan. Mike's voice was panicked. They have everything. The line went dead. Mills looked at me. What plan? Check his text messages from the night he pushed me off our balcony. 2 hours after I fell, he texted Mike saying, it's done. Make sure Rodriguez takes the call, not Martinez. He owes us. You have proof of this? My lawyer does. Lauren from the women's shelter. Mills wrote everything down, then looked at my wrist again. Mrs. Morrison, is there somewhere safe Emma can stay tonight? Mrs. Chen stepped forward. She can stay with us. We're neighbors. Emma knows us. That works temporarily. Mills stood up. Mr. Morrison, don't leave the hospital. We have more questions. This is insane. I'm taking my daughter home. No, you're not. Mills positioned herself between him and Emma. Not until we sort this out. Derek's face went red, the real Derek showing through, the one who pushed me off a balcony, the one who'd been planning this for months. You're making a huge mistake. Mills looked him straight in the eye. We'll see about that. Detective Mills was still writing when the hospital administrator walked back in. I've called Adult Protective Services. They need to investigate this psychiatric hold order. Within an hour, APS investigator Janet Williams arrived. Gray suit, serious face, thick folder. Mrs. Morrison, I need to verify something. She pulled out Derek's psychiatric hold papers. This signature supposedly belongs to Dr. Marcus Whitman. Derek said he's been observing me. Dr. Whitman died 2 years ago. My stomach dropped. What? Your husband forged a dead psychiatrist's signature. She showed me an obituary. Dr. Marcus Whitman, renowned psychiatrist, died in 2022. He picked someone famous enough to seem credible, but dead enough not to complain. So the hold order is fake? Completely fraudulent, and that's a felony. Detective Mills looked up from her notes. We need the FBI involved if this crosses state lines. Mrs. Chen stepped forward. My brother-in-law is FBI. He's already been following this case. Call him. 20 minutes later, Agent David Chen arrived. Tall, serious, took one look at the evidence spread across my hospital tray. Insurance fraud, forged medical documents, conspiracy with a police officer. He photographed everything. This is federal. Derek increased my life insurance 3 months ago, forged my signature. That's wire fraud if he used electronic submission. Agent Chen pulled out his phone. I'm calling the state attorney's office. Within 2 hours, my hospital room had become a crime scene investigation. The state attorney's investigator arrived with more questions. We've opened an investigation into Officer Mike Morrison. She showed me a file. 3 other women have come forward in the past 24 hours. About Mike? He helped their abusive husbands, made evidence disappear, intimidated witnesses. She flipped through pages. One woman, Patricia Graves, said Mike threatened to have her children taken away if she didn't drop domestic violence charges. When was this? 2 years ago. Another woman, Sandra Liu, says Mike deleted security footage of her husband breaking her jaw last year. He's done this before. Multiple times, but you're the first case with this much evidence. Lauren burst through the door with a stack of papers. Emergency custody hearing is set for Monday morning. That's tomorrow. Judge Patricia Hayes will preside. Lauren smiled for the first time in weeks. Not Mike's friend. Hayes hates corrupt cops. Why? Her daughter was murdered by an ex-boyfriend. Police ignored 7 domestic violence reports because the boyfriend's uncle was a sergeant. So she'll listen. She'll do more than listen. Lauren pulled out another document. I'm filing an emergency restraining order right now. Derek tried to push back into the room. This is my wife. I have a right. No, you don't. And security blocked him. You've been trespassed from hospital property. What? You can't do that. The administrator handed him official papers. For assaulting a patient. You're banned from this facility effective immediately. She's my wife. She's our patient. And you're a threat to her safety. She turned to security. Escort him out. This is kidnapping. I'll sue every one of you. Try it. Agent Chen stepped forward. You'll be doing it from federal prison. Derek's face went white. You can't prove anything. Your browser history proves premeditation. Your texts prove conspiracy. Your forged documents prove fraud. Agent Chen counted on his fingers. That's 25 to life. I want my lawyer. Call him. You'll need the best one money can buy. Mills handed him his phone. Oh wait, your accounts are frozen. Federal asset seizure. You can't do that. Wire fraud gives us that authority. Agent Chen smiled. Every penny you have is now evidence. Derek backed toward the door. This isn't over. You're right, Mills stood. It's just beginning. Don't leave town, Mr. Morrison. You're under federal investigation. Security escorted him out. For the first time in weeks, I could breathe. After they all left, I was moved to the protective custody ward. It was just me and two other women. One had been stabbed by her boyfriend, the other thrown through a window. We didn't talk, just nodded at each other. We all knew why we were here. Emma was with the Chens. CPS had sent someone to check on her every few hours. She was safe. That's all that mattered. My phone buzzed. Text from Lauren. Derek posted bail. $50,000. His mother paid it. So he was home, sitting in our house, sleeping in our bed, while I lay here with a broken spine. Another text. He's on house arrest. Ankle monitor. Can't leave except for court. Good. At least he couldn't run. Mike suspended without pay. Internal Affairs found 6 more women. 6. 6 women Mike had helped their husbands hurt, and those were just the ones brave enough to come forward. Mrs. Chen called. Emma's okay. She ate dinner, asked about you 20 times. Can I talk to her? CPS says no phone contact until after the hearing. I'm sorry. I hung up and stared at the ceiling. My 5-year-old daughter was 2 miles away, and I couldn't even hear her voice. My mother-in-law had filed her own emergency custody petition, claimed both Derek and I were unfit. The assault at the hospital proved Derek was violent. My suicide attempt proved I was unstable. She wanted Emma permanently. She's got money for lawyers, Lauren warned. 3 of them. They're arguing that Emma needs stability with a grandmother, not 2 damaged parents. Tommy Chen was at the FBI office with his parents. They were downloading his video, making official copies, taking his statement. 8 years old, and he was my star witness. The video's been authenticated, Lauren said. Tech expert confirmed it hasn't been edited. Timestamp matches hospital records exactly. My voice recording was being analyzed too. 47 minutes of evidence. Our fight, the push, Derek calling Mike, every word being transcribed by the FBI. It's solid, Lauren said, but Derek's lawyer is good. Saturday turned into Sunday. I tried to sleep but couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Emma crying. Heard Derek saying Michelle would be her new mother. Sunday morning, 24 hours until court. My spine throbbed. Physical therapy had helped, but I still couldn't walk without the walker. How could I fight for custody when I couldn't even stand up straight? Sunday afternoon, Derek's mother visited. Security wouldn't let her in the room, but she stood in the doorway. You destroyed my son. He pushed me off a balcony. You drove him to it with your constant nagging. Your threats of divorce. Her face was cold. I'll make sure Emma knows what kind of mother you really are. Security escorted her out, but her words stayed. What if the judge believed her? What if money and lawyers beat truth? Sunday evening, Lauren called with updates. Judge Hayes reviewed the emergency filings. She's fast-tracking everything. Criminal charges and custody hearing combined. Is that good? It means she's taking it seriously. Pause. Sarah, there's something else. What? Derek hired Marcus Webb. My stomach dropped. Marcus Webb. The lawyer who got 3 wife killers acquitted. The one who turned murdered women into crazy liars. The one who made juries believe victims deserved what they got. He's expensive. Derek's mother is paying. She mortgaged her house. She hates me that much? She loves her son that much. Lauren's voice was grim. Webb's already filed motions. Wants Tommy's video thrown out. Says an 8-year-old can't be a reliable witness. But the video speaks for itself. He's arguing it could be digitally altered, that you had time to doctor it while in the hospital. That's insane. That's Marcus Webb. He creates doubt where there shouldn't be any. I lay there in the protective ward. Broken spine, daughter 2 miles away, husband out on bail with the best lawyer money could buy. Monday morning would change everything. Either I'd get Emma back or lose her forever. Either Derek would go to prison or walk free. 72 hours since he grabbed my wrist. 72 hours to prepare for the fight of my life. Monday morning, they wheeled me into the courtroom. Derek sat at the defendant's table in a $2,000 suit. 3 lawyers flanked him. Marcus Webb in the middle, silver-haired and shark-eyed. I couldn't walk without my walker. Couldn't sit up straight without pain shooting down my spine. But I was there. Judge Patricia Hayes entered. 60 years old, steel gray hair, no smile. This is a combined hearing for emergency custody and criminal charges. Mr. Webb, your client faces attempted murder charges. Your Honor, my client is a concerned father protecting his child from a mentally ill mother. Webb stood, buttoning his jacket. Mrs. Morrison attempted suicide, endangering their daughter's emotional well-being. She didn't attempt suicide. Lauren stood. We have evidence of attempted murder. Then present it. Lauren connected her laptop to the courtroom speakers. This is a voice recording from the night of August 12th. My voice filled the room, begging Derek not to hurt me. The sounds of struggle, the splash. Then Derek's voice, clear and calm. She jumped Mike. Yeah, just like we discussed if she ever tried to leave. Derek's face went white. His mother gasped from the gallery. Objection. Webb jumped up. Chain of custody. That recording could have been altered. We have corroborating evidence. Lauren clicked to the next file. Video from Tommy Chen. The courtroom screen showed our balcony, Derek gripping my shoulders, the push, me falling backward, everything matching the audio perfectly. An 8-year-old with a tablet. Webb scoffed. Children fantasize. Digital manipulation is simple these days. Judge Hayes leaned forward. Let me see the original device. Tommy's mother handed over the tablet. The court's IT specialist plugged it in, checking metadata. Original file. Unedited. Timestamp matches hospital admission records exactly. Dr. Martinez took the stand next. The angle of spinal fracture indicates frontal force impact. Impossible from a backward jump. Someone pushed her. Doctors can misread x-rays, Webb said. I've been reading x-rays for 20 years. I know the difference between a jump and a push. Tommy took the stand, 8 years old in his best clothes, speaking into the microphone. Tell us what you saw, Lauren said gently. I was recording fireflies for science class. His voice was small but clear. Mr. Morrison pushed Mrs. Morrison really hard. She fell into the pool. Are you sure he pushed her? Yes, both hands on her shoulders, pushed forward. She went backward over the rail. Webb approached for cross-examination. Tommy, do you like Mrs. Morrison? Yes. Would you lie to help her? No, lying is wrong. But you want to help her, don't you? Tommy looked confused. I want to tell the truth. Your parents told you what to say, didn't they? Objection. Lauren stood, badgering a child witness. Sustained. Judge Hayes glared at Webb. The witness is 8 years old. Derek's mother suddenly stood in the gallery. That child is lying. My son would never. Remove her. Judge Hayes pointed to the bailiff. This is a witch hunt, she screamed as they dragged her out. That woman drove him to this. The door slammed. Silence. Lauren played Derek's browser history. Searches about pool depth and spine injuries. Insurance policies. Psychiatric holds. Research, Webb said. A worried husband trying to understand his wife's mental state. Then the text to Mike, 2 hours after the push. It's done. Make sure Rodriguez takes the call, not Martinez. He owes us. Webb had no answer for that one. Agent Chen testified about the insurance fraud, the forged signatures, the dead psychiatrist's name on commitment papers. Clerical errors, Webb tried. Misunderstandings in a time of crisis. Judge Hayes wasn't buying it. Her face got harder with each piece of evidence. Detective Mills testified about finding the bruises on my wrist, the security footage of Derek grabbing me, Tommy's video of that assault too. A desperate man trying to help his sick wife, Webb said, but even he sounded like he didn't believe it anymore. Judge Hayes looked directly at Derek. Based on the overwhelming evidence presented, this court finds probable cause for attempted murder charges. She banged her gavel. Defendant will be remanded into custody immediately. Your Honor, my client has strong community ties, Webb started. Your client pushed his wife off a balcony. Bailiff, take him into custody. Derek stood up slowly. The bailiff approached with handcuffs. Hands behind your back. This is a mistake. Derek looked at me as the metal clicked around his wrists. Sarah, tell them you're confused. Tell them about your depression. I said nothing. Just watched them arrest him in his expensive suit. Agent Chen stood. Your Honor, Michael Morrison is also under arrest for conspiracy and corruption. Through the courtroom window, I could see FBI agents putting Mike into a black SUV. He'd been picked up at his house an hour ago. 6 other women had come forward overnight. 6 more cases of Mike helping abusive husbands. Judge Hayes turned to custody. Given Mrs. Morrison's medical condition, I'm granting her emergency custody with supervision. What does that mean? I asked Lauren. Emma's yours, but you need help while you recover. Mrs. Chen stood up in the gallery. I'll be the supervisor. Emma knows our family. That's acceptable. The judge signed papers. Emma can visit her mother daily at the hospital until Mrs. Morrison is discharged. Your Honor, Webb interrupted. The child's grandmother has also filed for custody. Denied. The grandmother was removed from this courtroom for disruption and has shown clear bias against the victim. Derek's assets were next. Agent Chen presented evidence of the insurance fraud. All defendants' assets are frozen pending investigation. Judge Hayes didn't hesitate. The house, cars, bank accounts, everything. That's my client's money. That your client obtained through fraud. Next issue. The prosecutor stood. We're adding conspiracy charges for Michael Morrison. Text messages prove premeditation. How much time is Derek facing? I whispered to Lauren. Attempted murder is 15 to 25 years. Add conspiracy, insurance fraud, forgery. He's looking at 30 minimum. Outside the courtroom, Derek's mother waited. Security moved between us immediately. You destroyed my family. Her face was twisted with rage. You poisoned my son against me. Ma'am, you need to leave. The guard's hand went to his radio. I'll make sure Emma knows what you really are. A manipulative, that's enough. Detective Mills appeared. One more word and you're under arrest for witness intimidation. Derek's mother backed away but pointed at me. This isn't over. Yes, it is. Mills stayed between us until she left. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Sarah? This is Michelle, Derek's assistant, the 26-year-old he was replacing me with. I need to tell you something. Derek told me you were crazy, said you tried to kill yourself multiple times. That's not true. I know that now. But there's more. Her voice shook. I have text messages from 3 weeks before you fell. What kind of messages? Him describing your accident before it happened. Saying how tragic it would be when you jumped. How he'd need someone to help with Emma. You have these texts. Screenshots. Everything. She paused. He told me we'd be together after you were gone. That you were too mentally ill to be a mother. Will you testify? I already gave everything to the FBI. I'm so sorry. I didn't know he was planning to hurt you. Lauren grabbed my phone. Michelle? This is Sarah's attorney. We need those messages immediately. While Lauren talked, I saw the news van outside. Channel 7 local news. The reporter was live. Police officer Michael Morrison arrested for helping brother cover up attempted murder. 3 other women have come forward claiming Officer Morrison helped their abusive husbands. Inside the courthouse bathroom, I threw up. Everything hitting at once. Derek in handcuffs, Mike arrested, Emma safe. Pamela found me there. Sarah? Emma's here. Mrs. Chen brought her. I wiped my mouth, splashed water on my face, grabbed my walker. Emma stood in the hallway holding Mrs. Chen's hand. When she saw me, she ran. Mommy! I dropped to my knees, ignoring the pain in my spine. Held her so tight. Are you coming home? She asked. Soon, baby. Soon. 3 months later, I walked into court with a cane. My spine had healed enough that I didn't need the walker anymore, but I'd never walk normally again. Every step reminded me of that fall. The trial lasted 2 weeks. 12 other domestic violence survivors sat in the gallery every single day, women who knew exactly what Derek had done because it happened to them too. Day 3, the prosecutor called Rebecca to the stand, Derek's college girlfriend from 10 years ago. He pushed me down the library stairs. Her voice shook. Broke my wrist and 3 ribs. But his father was a major donor, so the school made it disappear. Objection, Webb said. Relevance. Pattern of behavior, Your Honor. The prosecutor pulled up medical records. The defendant has a history of pushing women. Then came Ashley from 5 years ago. He shoved me off a deck at a party. Everyone thought I was drunk and fell, but I hadn't been drinking. Derek's pattern was clear. He practiced on girlfriends before trying to kill his wife. Day 7, Mike took the stand. Orange jumpsuit, handcuffs, broken. I helped my brother cover up attempted murder. His voice was flat. In exchange for my testimony, I've accepted a plea deal. Tell us about the text message, the prosecutor said. Derek texted me 2 hours after pushing Sarah. Said it's done. Make sure Rodriguez takes the call, not Martinez. He owes us. What did Rodriguez owe you? I made his son's DUI disappear 2 years ago. He owed me. So you conspired to falsify the police report? Yes. How many other times did you help abusive husbands? Mike looked at Derek, then at me. 17 times over 6 years. The gallery gasped. 17 women, 17 cases of abuse covered up. Derek watched his brother betray him, no emotion on his face, just cold calculation. Day 10, Derek took the stand. Webb had advised against it, but Derek's ego wouldn't let him stay quiet. Sarah was depressed, he said. She talked about jumping for months. The prosecutor played my therapy recordings. Not about jumping, about being afraid of him. She misunderstood my concern for threats. Then came the browser history. Searching pool depths 6 weeks before pushing me. Research, Derek said. I was worried she'd hurt herself. So you researched how to hurt her more effectively? That's not what I meant. The prosecutor showed the insurance forms. Derek's forged signature next to mine. I don't recall signing those. You don't recall increasing your wife's life insurance to $500,000? It was a stressful time. Michelle's text appeared on screen. Derek describing my accident 3 weeks before it happened. Derek's face finally cracked. She's lying. Michelle is bitter because I wouldn't leave my wife for her. You just testified your wife was suicidal. Why wouldn't you leave her? Derek had no answer. Closing arguments. Webb tried everything. Mental illness, misunderstanding, tragic accident. But the evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty of attempted murder in the first degree. Derek stood for sentencing. Judge Carter, a different judge for the criminal trial, looked at him with disgust. You planned to murder your wife for money and freedom. You traumatized your daughter. You corrupted your brother. 8 years minimum, possibility of parole after 15. Derek turned to look at me. No remorse, just rage that he'd been caught. Mike got 3 years for conspiracy and corruption. Could be out in 18 months with good behavior. Derek's mother stood up. This is a travesty of justice. Ma'am, you're still under investigation for witness intimidation, the prosecutor reminded her. She'd been charged after sending me threatening letters. Probably get probation, but it was something. The civil case was quick. Derek ordered to pay $450,000 in damages. Medical bills, lost wages, pain and suffering. I don't have that kind of money, Derek said. Then we'll sell your assets. The judge signed the order. House, cars, everything. The house sold in 2 weeks. Covered my medical bills and left enough for Emma's therapy. The divorce was finalized the same day. Full custody to me. Derek lost all parental rights from prison, 8 years minimum. Emma would be 13 when he might get out, old enough to decide if she wanted to see him, but I doubted she would. She'd already started calling Mrs. Chen Grandma Chen. Derek was just the bad man who hurt Mommy. 8 months after Derek pushed me, I walked into the hospital for my first day back at work. Not as an ER nurse. My spine couldn't handle 12-hour shifts anymore. I sat at a desk now, processing insurance claims, but I was in the same building where everything started, where they brought me in with a broken back. My supervisor, Janet, met me at the elevator. How's the pain today? Manageable. That was my standard answer. Truth was, my spine hurt every single day. Rain made it worse. Cold mornings left me stiff for hours, but I could walk without a cane most days. That was enough. Sarah! Pamela ran over from the nurse's station. Did you hear? Another one left him. Who? Remember Katie from our support group? The one whose husband threw her through the sliding door? She finally left. Moved in with her sister yesterday. 15 women in our support group now, every Tuesday in the hospital basement. 3 had left their abusers after hearing my story, after seeing that survival was possible. My phone buzzed. Lauren. Can you testify Thursday? Another domestic violence case. Woman pushed downstairs. Send me the details. 2 more cases she'd taken pro bono. Both women whose husbands had tried to kill them. Both needed someone who'd been through it to tell them they weren't crazy. Dr. Martinez stopped by my desk. Sarah, good to see you walking. Thanks to you. Thanks to that 8-year-old with an iPad. He pulled out his phone. Speaking of which, Tommy Chen had sent another drawing. This one showed a stick figure with a cape. The lady who survived flying, written in crayon underneath. Kids got a future in motivational art, I said. Emma was doing better. 3 months of therapy had helped. She still had nightmares sometimes. Still asked why Daddy hurt me, but she laughed again, played again, trusted me again. Mrs. Chen picked her up from school every day while I worked. Emma called her Grandma Chen now, called Tommy her brother. They'd become the family Derek tried to destroy. Mommy's work! Emma's voice echoed down the hallway. She ran toward me after school, backpack bouncing, no fear in her eyes anymore. How was kindergarten? Good. We learned about butterflies. She didn't mention Derek. Hadn't in 2 months. Her therapist said that was healthy. She was processing at her own pace. That night, I sat in our new apartment, smaller than the house, 1 bedroom instead of 4, but it was ours. No memories of Derek here. Emma was asleep. I pulled out my laptop and opened the email from Derek I'd been ignoring. Sarah, I know you're reading this. I'm sorry for everything. The push was an accident. I grabbed you too hard trying to stop you from jumping. Please tell Emma I love her. Same lies, same manipulation, even from prison. I deleted it without responding. Like I deleted the 12 before it. My spine throbbed. I took my pain medication and lay on the heating pad. Some nights were harder. When rain came, I could barely move. When I saw someone who looked like Derek, I panicked. The nightmares hadn't stopped. 3 times a week, I dreamed about falling, woke up gasping, grabbing for something to hold, but Emma slept through them now. She felt safe enough to sleep deeply. My phone rang. Unknown number. This is Rebecca. From the trial, Derek's college girlfriend. I wanted to thank you, she said, for fighting back, for winning. I never could. You testified. That was brave. 10 years too late. Her voice cracked. But at least he can't hurt anyone else. After she hung up, I checked the locks. 3 deadbolts on our apartment door, security system armed, kitchen knife in my nightstand. I'd never feel completely safe again. But Emma was asleep in the next room, breathing steady, dreaming peacefully. Derek was in prison for at least 8 more years. Mike for 2.5 more. Their mother had been banned from contacting us. Tomorrow, Emma had a play date with Tommy. I had physical therapy, then work, then support group. Simple things. Normal things. Things women with broken spines weren't supposed to have. My back ached as I stood to check on Emma one more time. Always would. Every step reminded me of that night. Of the fall. Of thinking I was going to die. But I didn't die. And Emma was safe, and Derek was locked up. Some victories hurt forever, but they're still victories. Last week, Derek sent another email from prison. He claims he never meant for things to go that far. Still won't admit he pushed me. Says I made him do it by threatening divorce. Like my wanting to leave justified attempted murder. I deleted it without responding, just like the 12 before it. His mother still sends letters every month. Same handwriting on the envelope, same return address. I don't open them anymore, just write, return to sender, and put them back in the mailbox. The postal worker knows the routine now, doesn't even ask. Jennifer reached out last month. My former best friend who believed Derek when he said I was suicidal. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I should have known, should have believed you. I told her I understood, but understanding isn't the same as forgiving. Some bridges can't be rebuilt. 5 years of friendship erased because she chose to believe a man's lies over my truth. We don't talk anymore. Trust is different now. Every new person I meet, I watch for red flags first. Check their hands when they gesture. Notice if they stand between me and the door. Listen for that edge in their voice when things don't go their way. The hospital hired a new security guard last week. Male, about Derek's height. I couldn't breathe when I saw him. Had to excuse myself to the bathroom and sit there shaking for 10 minutes. But I went back to work, finished my shift. Because that's what I do now. I survive. I survived attempted murder, fought a rigged system where cops protect wife killers, won against a lawyer who'd freed 3 murderers, protected my daughter when everyone said I was crazy, didn't let them break me, didn't let them steal my truth. Justice came. Not perfect, not complete. Derek got 8 years when he deserves life, Mike got 3 when he deserves 10. But it's enough to build something new on. Yesterday, Emma asked me, Mommy, are we safe now? She was playing with her dolls, didn't even look up, like it was a casual question, like safety was something simple. Yes, baby. We're safe now. And for the first time since that night on the balcony, feeling the air rush past me as I fell, I actually believed it. We're safe. Derek's locked up. Mike's locked up. Their mother can't contact us. My spine still hurts. Always will. I see Derek's face in nightmares. Probably always will. But Emma sleeps through the night. Laughs at Tommy's jokes. Calls Mrs. Chen, Grandma. Trust me again. That's enough. That's everything. We're safe now.